And we are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. It is 7:13 a.m. in the morning now in Tbilisi, Georgia, and we're talking about how much do you care? And this is the masculinity version. Why am I talking about how much do you care? Because the goal is, in the end, to become masculine and to get to a point where you are living a blissful life. And we don't want you to wait until the next life or until you're dead or until you get to heaven to enjoy bliss. Bliss can and should be enjoyed here on planet Earth. Could you believe it? Because if you apply correct principles in this life, you will actually experience joy and happiness in this life. It is only because you're not applying the correct principles in your life that you're not enjoying joy and happiness. So, what does that have to do with caring? Because femininity is not able to not care. We understand that women are not able to not care. Notice that when something offends them, they respond always because they're not able to not care. So the question is, are you a girl? I'm talking now to the men of high value. Are you a little girl? Because if you get offended, if you take offense, if you have issues with what other people say about you or to you, and you care about what they think, you're still a little girl. The only way that you can move ahead is to begin to choose to not care, because it's a masculine trait to be indifferent. Okay, now if I'm trying to explain this entire concept in a few sentences. Why would it be important for you to be indifferent? I'm not saying that you should be indifferent about everything, right? I'm saying that you should be indifferent about the things that are stopping you from creating the life that you deserve, from creating the life that you want to live. And really, one of the biggest things that are stopping you is that you care about what other people think. There's some books written about this. One of them, which I haven't even read because it's not even necessary, it's just common sense, is The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. Right? That's a book that many of you maybe have read. And if you haven't read it, maybe you should. I don't know. Or maybe this video will be enough. But in what categories of life should you not care? If you notice that the guys who get the girls are the ones that don't really care about what they think. Like the guys who get the attractive girls are not trying to, put like how do I say this? I don't okay, first of all, for those of you guys who have not been on my channel for very long, you might not know that I'm completely against sleeping around, completely against chasing girls romantically before you're ready to establish a family. Having sex outside of a long-term committed relationship for life is a joke. It makes you feminine as a guy because you're focused on the now and you're so interested in the now that you basically are sacrificing the future and all of your future nows for those small now experiences of the now. And so I want you to understand this in terms of women. Like if you think about the long-term perspective of women, you want a family, you want kids, you want to establish riches and provide luxuries for the ones that you love of the women that you're going to be with. I say women in plural because monogamy sucks. You don't want monogamy. Trust me, I tried it for a long time. I've been married for 10 years but what? You just said that monogamy sucks and then you say that, sleeping around is bad. Yes, it's absolutely horrific. I want you to understand responsible polygyny. and responsible, meaning that you actually are living it masculinely, okay, in a way that you can actually get the girls, get the amazing women that you want to have, and then retain them and actually be masculine about how you establish harmony amongst those three, not two, not four, none of the above, but three women who live in harmony together in the same house and are enjoying their fantastic lifestyle with you. If you understand responsible polygyny, you can learn a lot about this from my other channel, Girls of High Value channel, where I talk to the girls, and also on Three Girls in Love. That's three, the digit three, Three Girls in Love on Instagram. Because there, I want you to understand that if you don't care what other people think, let's say, for example, you have a girlfriend right now. That's a great example. And you're either one, you're not sure she's the one, or two, you think she's the one, but you don't really want to settle now. Like, you don't want to settle down. You got way more important things to do, and you're not rich yet, and you've got, maybe emotional issues. You're feminine, you're emotionally all over the place, type of thing. The best way to choose to not care is to let go of those women completely now for a period of time, so that you can establish your financial foundation for you to be ready for Three Girls in Love in the near future. Three Girls in Love, if you establish business momentum, if you establish, let's say, 100K in US dollars right now in the current circumstance of what the dollar is worth now in May 2020, if you establish 100K and you've really gone for it, you haven't cared about anything else. You're indifferent about your family problems. You're indifferent about your parents telling you to go to college. You're indifferent about maybe your religion. Oh, maybe that's important to be indifferent towards. If you understand that your religion will not take you to the joy and happiness that God intended you to have in your lifetime. Maybe your religion is something that you should not care about, or really dig deeply into. Is it foundational? Are they actually teaching me all of the truth? Is everything that they teach working in my life? Because very often people are held back so much by their religious beliefs that they've grown up with, or that they've converted to, they've become born again Christians, whatever. But very often those things are holding you back from creating the life that you deserve. And I'm saying this because you're there because you care what other people think. Who should you care about what they think? Because obviously we want to have a good reputation, right? So we can't just take that principle all the way to the extreme of not caring about what anyone thinks. Who should you care about? Whose opinion should you care about? First of all, you want to care about the opinion of God. His is the most important opinion of all. And if you understand the principles of God, if you understand that which works in the long run and in the big scheme of things, that is the definition of truth. God knows the truth. He lives the truth. And everything in his life automatically works all of the time. Okay, already a lot of people have left already, because when I start talking about religion, no, he's talking about. Okay, for those of you who remain here, you're getting the secrets for life. You're getting to understand how to create bliss on earth. God lives the truth. His life works. People are living religions that are not in line with what God intended, with what God wants you to have, with that which works. So those guys who are stuck in that mindset in a religion that obviously is not God's, because if it was God's, it would be working for you and you'd be happy. It's so ridiculous to me that people are stuck in religions and they're like, I'm following God, I'm following Jesus, and then yes, it's very hard, it's very difficult, and I'm suffering, and but this is what God wants me to do. Does he really? And like, I understand the aspect of course, yes, life is hard, but I'm fired up about it. I'm fired up about things being hard because I know that just in a few years' time, as long as I apply these principles of being rejected, of things being difficult, of me breaking down my willpower and capacity muscles so that they can be built up again. This is true masculinity. This is true religion. Understanding that God became strong, started living the truth because he had to go through the same steps that we're going through. God is indifferent. I had this conversation with one of my religious friends the other day, and we were talking about how women are not able to not care. Meaning women cannot choose when they're put in the situation where they can't control themselves. And then they really cannot control themselves. You can never tell a woman, control yourself, woman, because she's not designed to do that. She's actually designed for other things. But anyway, we talked about that. And then he was like, well, that's kind of like God. Are you saying that, God is not able to not care? And I'm like, God actually is a perfect example because he can choose to be indifferent. And he's like, no, that's not possible. God cares more than any other person on planet Earth and blah, blah, blah. Like, God is amazing. Yes, he is amazing. But do you know that he is most amazing because he's able to not care? Why am I saying that? I'm saying that because God, if he cared about every single event that happens on planet Earth, if he cares about all those small itty bitty things that are happening, wouldn't he intervene? Don't you think that God would alleviate suffering if he was almighty, caring, powerful, and not indifferent? God cares, of course, right? Because he's a perfect being, but he's able to be indifferent because he cares. Let's learn some masculine lessons from this. At what point in time will you become the most powerful? Is it when you are massively rich? Or is it when you're poor and trying your best to live your religion? Maybe you have to leave your religion so that your brain is not mixed up with, oh, is money good or is money evil? Because that's a huge thing that's stopping you from becoming successful. Your religious beliefs that, oh, rich people, will struggle to get through the eye of a needle. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Okay? Why? Because you want capacity. And capacity is established, one, from money. Obviously, if you've got money, you have power to do. What's the definition of the power? Power is the ability to do. God is almighty, he's all powerful. So if we want to become like God, we have to become all powerful. All powerful means that we've got a lot of cash on hand. Why? Because right now I'm just one person. Me doing good will only stretch that far because I'm just one person. Oh, but yeah, I'm one person and what I do is enough. No, it's not. Your responsibility as a son of God is to attract 100 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people, 100,000 people, or if you think big, Mahatma Gandhi style, is to put 200 million people and help them to achieve their goals so that you can achieve your ultimate goal, that is to bring peace on earth. That's big thinking. Peace on earth means that you, for a period of time, do not care about religious beliefs that you're not supposed to get rich. Yeah, but Mahatma Gandhi was poor. Yes, he was. So if you find a way to actually achieve what he did while being poor, good on you. But most of the time, you'll need cash. You need it. Why wouldn't you want it? Why wouldn't you want cash? Because with that cash, you can hire people. When you hire people, you do good. for the customer, for the person you're employing, and for yourself, because you're getting more power. You're actually, in fact, giving more power to every individual involved when you're employing people. Give people jobs. So you're caring right now about a lot of unnecessary stuff, like college, like your parents, like your friends and what they think, when what you should be caring about is how to get more power, more money, but also getting the thing that the goal of money will get you. What do I mean? Jim Rohn said, set the goal of $1 million, not because of the $1 million, but because of the person you become in the process. Power, the ability to do. When you set the goal of $1 million and you set a deadline, and I'm not talking do it within a year, because the probability of that happening is none to the zilch, okay? Maybe set 2 years, 3 years of establishing $1 million. Totally doable. 3 to 5 years, absolutely doable for everyone who's watching this channel. Every single person. If you hire a coach and if you know what to build in business and you've got a full-time job currently, that is the time to set the goal. Once you have the goal, guess what? You're going to have to take action. And you're going to have to not care about the rejection that you get from people saying, well, you can't do that. You come from this background. How is it possible for you to think you're going to make $1 million or think you're going to build a business? Don't tell them what they're doing. Don't tell them what you are doing. Just start building. That's what you need to do, because you've been caring too much about what other people think, what grandpa thinks, or what your friend thinks, because he says, oh, you suck, man. You can't create this. Yes, you can. Get it from me. Anyone in this establishment of the world can create $1 million. It is not hard. It is simply a numbers game. And that numbers game you're not achieving right now because you're starting and then you give up. And then you starting and then you give up. Why do you give up? Because you care about what other people think. That's the whole reason. It's insane how powerful you become once you don't care about what other people think. But why do you not care about what other people think? Because you care about other people. Man, understand this secret. This is godliness. This is godhood explained. God cares about us so much. Yeah, that he gave his son. Wonderful. Awesome. Thank you, Jesus. But he gave his son and he was indifferent when he gave his son. He didn't reach in. He didn't come in and say, no, stop. You're suffering too much, son. Let's stop the entire purpose of the planet. No, go on with it. This is painful to watch. I love my son, but he must suffer. It is part of the process. It is part of him creating his godhood. He's overcoming himself. He's becoming the right person. He's becoming a God. That is the same thing God looks at us. He's seeing all of our problems. He's seeing all of the issues happening in the world. And then he chooses wisely to be indifferent. Because if he cares too much about what other people think or about, oh, the suffering that is going on, we will never learn our lessons. This is a problem when it comes to politics. Why do you need to vote libertarian? Don't do it now. Vote for Trump this round because libertarians, for whatever reason, chose to make a female presidential candidate in America. But if you live anywhere else in the world and they're choosing a man, then you can vote for that man. But anyway, in America, don't do it. But I'm just explaining to you, vote libertarian. Why? Because government should choose to not care about the poor people. That's our responsibility as the citizens of that country to care about the poor people. But remember, charity starts at home. You have to set up yourself first in order for you to be able to help others. And when government takes away 40 to 60% of our income, there's a huge problem with that. And that problem comes because they care too much. They're not able to not care. They're feminine, meaning women are the ones who vote for big government. Always, 80% of the time, you'll find a few individual amongst women who choose libertarianism or who choose rational voting. Okay, but that's the only reason why they do that is because they were born of a masculine father. Okay, and the masculine father raised them. Those women will actually think rationally, believe it or not. So when in the future, when you date girls, find out if they're raised by a powerful father, because if they are, you will be able to have a wonderful lifestyle with her, but still it will suck if you live monogamy. There's no exception to the rule. So what am I explaining? Choose to not care. Femininity, it is the little things that count. Masculinity is I have more important things to do. You want to be masculine, you want to be feminine. If you want to be feminine, you're going to focus on all the small things. You're going to focus on your family and friends that you have now, that your family probably will stay with you for life, right? Probably. Let's see. Okay, once you get rich, you can help your family more than you've ever been able to help them in the past. Right now, you're probably helping them a bit too much, in my opinion. Your friends, if they don't support you in establishing riches, they're not your friends, and they suck, and you need to get rid of them. Like literally, decrease the amount of time you spend with them by 95%. You'll find another community. They suck if they believe that you're not supposed to be rich. You need to get rid of them ASAP, actually, because that is going to hold you back. You're caring about the small things. The small things includes your friends, because you've got more important things to do. Once you understand the big picture of this is godhood, this is masculinity, this is moving towards a drive, an excitement in your life, being motivated. The only reason why you're depressed and your life is not working is because of the 5 closest friends that you're spending time with. If you're spending time with me on a daily basis, trust me, you're going to become fired up outside your brain like me. That's what happens to my clients. They become fired up outside their brains. Your friends, look at them. Are they fired up outside their brains on a continual basis? No. That's probably why you're not fired up outside your brain on a continual basis. Get some new friends. Why? Because you're caring about them. That's a bad thing if it's holding you back from establishing the luxurious lifestyle, not only for you, but for the thousands of people that you are going to have their lives changed. Okay, that was not English, but do you understand what I'm talking about here? Friends, if they don't have the same value system or beliefs as you, once you get rich, they'll fall off anyway. They're actually going to take themselves out of your life naturally, because they can't handle it. It's kind of like you go to heaven and you didn't really live good principles, and so I'm kind of afraid to be in the presence of God. This is your friends in 2 to 3 to 5 years time once you're rich, and they do not have the same belief system or value system as you when it comes to riches, when it comes to semen retention, when it comes to you becoming masculine, when it comes to all of those cool principles that you learn on this channel. Those guys suck. That's why you suck. And that's why you need to choose to be a god, to step on the path of mastery, and choose to not care. Because the moment you do that and you begin to rather care about what God thinks of you and rather start caring about what rich people think of you, not the sucky crony capitalism rich, but the rich who actually want you to have freedom, the rich who actually want you to succeed, the rich who actually are doing everything in their power to educate people about how to establish riches, because they want you to succeed. This is like Robert Kiyosaki, Valuetainment with Patrick Bet-David, Grant Cardone. All of those guys are teaching you, Anthony Robbins, they want the best for you. They want you to succeed. They're educating you for you to get rich. Okay? So once you begin to apply the principles and choose to not care what other people think, you will get rich. That's one of the biggest things that are holding you back, and you've got to be able to get to that aspect. And it's not about oh, I need to make my bed in the morning. I need to meditate on a daily basis. Then I'll feel good and then I'll become rich. I need to practice the law of attraction. I need to practice this, that, and the other. I need to work 12-hour days. Hey, if you don't have the foundational piece of I do not care what other people think, other than the people that I want to respect me, like God, like other mentors that you have who are already rich, who want you to come with them. Those are the people you should care about. Your future women in Three Girls in Love, you care about what they think of you, but in a sense of you want their respect. You want them to worship you. You want their adoration. You won't get that if you suck financially. You've got to clear the path for you to make it. You've got to clear the path for you to become masculine and powerful. That includes cash. I'm saying it how it is. So, all right, let's go through some of the messages here. Let's see. I have a friend that's very practical in business, but he suffers analysis paralysis. Should I cut the cord? Have you shown him this channel? Have you shown him Three Girls in Love? Have you shown him how business works? Have you masculinity? Because if you have, and he gets it, then he just needs time. So no, I don't think you should cut the cord if he's very practical in business and he thinks big. But if he's not integral, if he doesn't have integrity, if he doesn't have the big picture that you're beginning to get from following this channel, then yeah, maybe you should cut the cord, right? It's kind of like, this is Ty Lopez who said, you should spend 33% of your time with people that are way better than you. You should spend time with people, like 1/3 of your time should go with people that are kind of your peers, like the same kind of, stage in life. And then 1/3 of your life or time should be spent with people who suck, like people who you're trying to help, who are teachable and who want to learn. That's kind of you set up your time. In the beginning, though, that's kind of the right mindset for someone who's rich, because then he's giving back, but he's also progressing, and then he's spending time with people he can connect with. Does that make sense? But at your stage, you should forget yourself and go to work, meaning you should not care. You can't, charity starts at home. So you have to start focusing on the 33% that are way better than you. 80% of your time or 95% of the time should be spent with those guys, if possible. Actually, it's kind of impossible because I'm telling you to get a full-time job. But do you understand what I mean? Like, out of your other 8 hours, your 8 hours are going to be spent at a job with people who think small, okay? But that will fuel your motivation for the 8 other hours when you're awake, right? You're asleep 8 hours, going to work 8 hours, and then 4 or 8 hours, you are trying to succeed. That is the time you need to spend with people that are thinking way bigger than you, that are way better than you in business, etc., etc. Because you need to be influenced by someone, right? In order to go in that direction. If that makes sense. Granted, he's twice my age. Old dogs can't learn new tricks. You can't. Yeah, that's true. I mean, if you can find other guys, probably I'd move on, because like old dogs, you're right, man. Like they might have issues putting into practice analysis paralysis. He's basically feminine. But I hope you've shared this channel. Oh yeah, one more thing. This is probably the most important thing that I'm going to mention in this video. How many people have you shared these videos with? How many people have you shared this channel with? How many people do you talk with about these principles? Three Girls in Love, semen retention, godhood, right? Like the nature of God. Maybe I should do a full video about that in the next one. Let me know in the comment section if you guys want to understand my perspective of godhood. But if you think about all those things, like how many people have you shared it with? Because the more people you share it with, the more you will begin to sift out the people that are good for you in your life or not. And you'll also notice how You'll also notice how feminine you are by how much you care about their rejection of you when you do share it. Some guys will be like, whoa, this is cool stuff, man. Thanks for sharing. Like, this is mind boggling. This can change my life drastically. You'll have some of those guys. Spend time with those. As long as they keep being part of the movement, right? We're building a movement, a community here. We're going to be 1 million strong eventually. I don't know how long it's going to take, but it's going to happen. But the guys who are like making fun of you for semen retention, the guys that are making fun of you for for trying to get rich or establishing business, etc., maybe you should spend less time with them. You're beginning to sift out who actually you're supposed to be, spend time with. I know a few guys on my channel, for example, Sar Yoga. I'm grateful for him. Do you know why? 80 to 95% of my videos, he slaps onto his Facebook. And he puts up a lot on his Facebook, but I'm so grateful for him doing that because people get connected to this movement. The more men understand this principle, the faster we can create peace on earth. Because for us to create peace on earth, we need masculine men. We need men that are emotionally stable. We need men that are rich and that are willing to take upon them 3 girls in love and not sleep with anyone outside of a long-term committed relationship for life. The more men we get practicing these principles, the more amazing this world is going to be. And yet, how long have you been in your femininity of, no, man, I can't share this channel with other people. Like, no, I get it if you have a business and you don't want to spread it to your following. Let's say you like, but at the same time, man, share it. What's the horrible thing that can come from it? Share the message, because that is proving to you how masculine you are. If you can't handle the rejection, what other people are going to think about you, how are you going to succeed in business? So let this be your practice test of, let's see if I care about what other people think, and share this message. Okay, I'm being a bit tricky here because, hey, obviously I care about my message a lot. This is my life I'm sharing here, and I care about you, but I also care about all those other thousands of people in your guys' network. Could you believe if just 200 people shared this with 500 of their friends who actually take a look? Probably they're not going to take a look, but how many zeros is that? That's what? 5 zeros. That's 10,000 people that have the potential of seeing this video within the next week. What power can be created when men of high value begin to share the truth with other people? Let's see how much you care about what other people think, because you've probably cared a lot about what other people think for a long time while you've been here. Not everyone will listen. Who cares? Joe, are you Norwegian? Yes, I'm Norwegian. I'm, how much Norwegian am I? Let's think. 51% Norwegian. I'm probably around 47% of Switzerland. And the other 2% is basically Cameroon. Cool, guys. And England. That's kind of my background. We've gone back to the 1600s in family history to figure that out. So that's getting my background. So yeah, not everyone will listen. Thank you for sharing that, Toxic Gameplays. You're right. But some will. So what? Someone's waiting. The SW. Some will. Oh, some will, some won't. So what? Someone's waiting. And we're only looking for a few key people to work with. And once you find out who those guys are, who want to go on the same track as you in terms of 3 girls in love, in terms of masculinity, in terms of becoming massively wealthy, and they connect themselves with this men of high value movement, we're going to become so powerful, you will have no idea what happened to this planet. And this is not going to even be a secret society. It's not a secret society. I'm publishing all of the principles online for everyone to see, and it's just up to them to practice it. I share the truth, and people can basically follow the principles if they want to. I don't force anyone ever. This is the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. I'm fired up outside my brain, and I'm excited to participate with you in establishing the Men of High Value movement. I'll see you in the next one.